Sorry, I turned microphone off. Classroom interaction. Um, inter by interacting more. I know it sounds ridiculous answer, but by opening the channels. Opening the channels, allowing people to contribute. If there's only one way from professor down to students, then the interaction even between the students will be limited because they will only want to, if you like, maybe it's not the right word, but please the professor. Okay? But if you have multiple channels for students and professors to gather as learners, as someone engaged in interested in topic, well, the professor can certainly help with wealth of knowledge they have. But rather than tell everything, simply encourage and nurture and grow. And I'm sure the goal of every educator is for students to become that. So, short answer, with more interaction and opening more channels. Moodle is fantastic for that. You can have many channels, and some for people, for example, who are perhaps maybe shy to speak in public. Open up a forum for those, and then you will find over time the amazing insights they will tell you in a place where they are safe. Safety is a very important consideration. Not losing face, not appearing silly, and that sort of thing. Very, very important to a lot of people, and not just young people as well. Feel free to type in the questions in the chat, please. Okay. Apart from the quiz, what other activities do you like to see for? Wiki is a very common wiki forum. Probably the simplest and the most commonly used things to allow people to create, students to create things. Databases are not a good one once you set it up, but that's mostly for collection of things. But quiz, you can have every activity. You can even have students design their own learning activities if you allow roles. But I just didn't want to be Moodle, and I just didn't want to go too technical this morning. You have your head filled with options at the moment. But Forum and Wiki, they're the two simplest, really, tools that allow students to create. It's a good question, by the way. You're welcome, Salim. I'm glad, and I'm very glad for all your patience as well, and your hosts for input. And I look forward to perhaps seeing you in person one day.
Thank you for having me, and I'm among colleagues, so I'm very happy to be here. I'm not sure if what I'll be presenting to you would be extraordinary, but at least it's an example. I think I'm probably at where Mark said that the first 2 hours. So these are the first 2 hours. Basically, you know, I'm just going to go through the two features of using forums and of using assignments, and how it's been for me, and maybe some possibilities of you know, making that a better experience for me and for my future students. I basically, like the presenter said, like we teach general courses for the College of Education. These are usually required courses, so students have to take them. You know, they really don't have any choice. We have also a special program for older students. Those are like returning students in their probably late 30s, 40s, you know, they have like a diploma in education, and now they're finishing up and with their bachelor in education. So those are a little bit maybe technophobic a little bit. You know, they're not used to technology so much, and I was really you know, hesitant to use technology with them, but it was a very good experience. Basically, I think just to some of the challenges in using a lot of Moodle features is time. Time for me, time for my students. It just takes that much time to build up courses, you know, create activities. Also, time on the student part, you know, to participate in forums, to do their assignments online. And for our older students, it's a step forward. It's something that's, you know, sometimes is like, you know, they need help from somebody else. But generally, I think it has been somehow a positive experience for us. I use forums in my educational courses, the required one for the bachelor, the normal bachelor students. It's a very good way to summarize, of course, on the students' part, you know, a participation from students, to summarize some information that I'll present to them, analyze that kind of information, write their opinions, compare. You know, we teach courses about the educational system in Oman, so sometimes really nice, you know, to have that comparative eye and look at other systems in other countries and how it's working for them, and you know, what's happening in there, and compare that to the reality within the educational system in Oman. So it's time for reflection and for evaluation as well, and I'll show maybe 1 or 2 examples of that. Okay, my experience with forums has been, I set up my courses so I could have, like, you know, theory class, maybe Saturday or Sunday, and then the other class, actually, I book in a lab, a computer lab, so students can work in the computer lab, so they have the computers, and, you know, they can, you know, work on the activities on the computer. So what happens in the class is nice. It's just not enough, right? Even for the activities that I design in class, so I would like them to review a couple of web pages before they actually start writing in the forum or discuss the questions that I'll be posing to them. But, you know, the class will end and students are not even done reviewing the web pages that I put for them. I try to ask them, like, you have to be, you know, skim and scan. It's not really detailed reading. You need to focus on the questions and look for specific information, and then, you know, try to, you know, talk about the idea that I'm asking you to do. But it's, you know, I think if we need, like, you know, students to participate in building the courses, in building the assignments, the activities, and all of that, I think it requires tremendous amount of time, especially given that we're limited by, you know, course objectives, we're limited by materials that we have to cover for the class, and so forth. So what I get most of the time, unfortunately, it's students will answer to my questions. If it's a description, they will be great in summaries because that's very straightforward for them. To criticize that, I think that would be a next level for them, and to go back and forth, talking about the ideas beyond I like it, I don't like it. I think that needs extra work and extra time on their behalf. So superficial comments, not as much, deeper reflection and critical analysis as I would like it to be. After the class, I get very few comments. I mean, it will be one or two students who are really very engaged in the class and they would like to continue that discussion. And they would do that. But for most of the class, if it's not mandatory, if you don't put grades for it, I get very few people coming back to the class. And this time I tried it. I just wanted to compare what happened, and I did actually made it. I gave them points for participating. There is general 10 points for general participation in the class, and online participation is part of that. But it's a little bit hard for them to see that unless it's for that specific discussion. I give them you have 3 points, 5 points, whatever. All right. So let's just go to the other feature so I can go and show you the courses very quickly. For the assignments, I haven't used it before so much, but when I used it, I really liked it. It's it's very nice, especially when you have more than one section, to actually have everybody's assignments in one place, and you can always go back to them. And from an organizational perspective, it's nice to have everything, grade them. Students get their feedback immediately. They can go. I mean, if it's an electronic file, you send it back to them. So there are a lot of capabilities, and it's been a very nice tool for me. So I'll just